Now to a story you saw first on WPRI.com. Two major court cases are taking place simultaneously in Massachusetts. The Boston Marathon bombings trial, of course, taking place in Boston, and the murder trial of former New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez down in Fall River. Joining me in studio right now to talk about both these massive trials is WPRI.com reporter Dan McGowan. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So obviously there are plenty of differences between these two cases, but there's two sort of major differences when you look at them as just sort of cases as a whole.
Yeah, that's right. So there are, if you look at one simply from the procedure process, there's of course, the fact that Tsarnaev is involved in a death penalty trial, right? So Aaron Hernandez cannot be convicted and then sentenced to death. Massachusetts abolished its law in 1982, its death penalty law. But Tsarnaev is being tried in federal court, which he is subject. There are 17 of the 30 counts that he's charged with do come with the possibility of a death penalty. And so that's going to be one. That's a very interesting thing when it comes to jurors. So when jurors are being selected, they're asked the question, do you support the death penalty? If the answer is no and they're unwilling to even consider it, they're off the jury. They cannot even be selected. On the flip side, there's one more that's more interesting for viewers at home, which is the media access. So in the Tsarnaev trial up in Boston, you're not going to be able to have a camera inside the courtroom. That's why we've seen a lot of sketches of the defendant. You're only going to see really the best play-by-play that you're going to get is actually on Twitter. It would be similar to like the Whitey Bulger trial over the summer. Whereas in Fall River, you're going to see Aaron Hernandez. There's going to be cameras rolling constantly, all the time. You'll be able to see really up close his reaction. Whenever there's a guilty or not guilty. Whenever he's found not guilty or guilty. Gotcha.
All right, so let's talk about their legal teams real quickly. I mean, they're two very different types of legal teams.
Absolutely. So Tsarnaev has a public defender. It's similar to your average case, except that his public defender is considered one of the best in the country, Miriam Conrad. Whereas Aaron Hernandez has high-priced private attorneys, Charles Rankin and Michael Fee, James Sultan. These guys are considered sort of the best in the business at what they do, and they carry a very steep price tag.
Very interesting stuff. Thank you so much for joining us in studio, Dan.